And that's when their heartbeat increases and their adrenaline flows. That's when you're most nervous. Those are the two spikes. So I don't suggest that you have to memorize the whole thing rote, but always have your opener rote and your closer. And by the way, now that I say this, and for the viewers out there, now that I say this, you're going to see this all the time. Never, ever close with, and guys, that's about it. That's how 90% of people close, especially informal presentations. And that's about it. That's a horrible way to close because they're nervous and they don't know how to shut it. If you remember rote your closer, you'll never have that problem.
Because then you could have something that would be the memorable statement or the call to action.
The commitment, absolutely.
Right, trying to get
it's
somebody
so
to do
important.
something.
It's the bookends.
So is that what confident presenters do then?
That's what people who look confident. I'm not saying that you need to be confident inside. I'm showing you how to look confident. To be confident takes many, many years. You know, you can meditate. There are so many great things that you can really do. NLP. But if you just want a quick fix, if you don't want to spend a lot of time doing this, but you want to look great even though you feel a little nervous inside, this will work.
So trying to think about it, so let's say, hey, I want to get a new job, or, you know, so I'm going to be interviewing, or you know what, I want to get that promotion at work. Where would be some of the places that you think you could be standing up and getting what I practice? Like, where do you think you could do that? Where?
I'm not sure what you're asking. Where would you be
like
getting practice to do this?
Yeah, if I'm the average Joe, right, and I want to get practice, how do I do that?
You know what? There's a million ways to do it. If you work for a company of any decent size, you know, small business of 15 plus people, at your meetings they always ask who has something to say, and people just sit there very mousy. That's the best way to say something. Take a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes, and offer an idea or make a comment on, or compliment somebody who's working for you. Just get the airtime. If you're a small business person, BNI, Business Network International, is a phenomenal way to promote your business and to get up. Every meeting you have to get up for maybe 60 seconds and promote your business. You will become a great presenter if you cultivate your skills. Don't just do the same thing. You know, cultivate your skills, work on new things, and in 1 year you'll be a great presenter.
Right, and as a former BNI member, I've seen that. I literally have seen somebody that was afraid, literally afraid to stand up and talk about themselves, and by the span of a year, this woman was, no big deal. Yeah, no big deal.
And not trying to over-tout BNI. There are a lot of other great organizations, but one of the nice things about BNI is because you only get that, 30-second, 60-second commercial every week, what did I just say? That's the hardest part of a presentation. The first chunk of it is the hardest part. You're doing that every time.
Right.
You can't help but to get great.
So how do we go about faking it? You know, so you want to fake that you're confident, because we're talking about the average person that doesn't do this all the time.
Right.
So what do I do? What do I do then if I'm going to be faking it?
For years, I have been fascinated by why some people emanate authority and confidence and some people don't. And so I keep journals about people, and I listen to what people say about other people. One of the things that I've found and research corroborates is that people with confidence and authority tend to do things slower. So if you're doing a presentation and you want to look confident, before you say one word, they're going to make an assessment of you by the way you walk up to the lectern or to the front of the room. And the key is, walk more slowly than you feel you need to. For you, however, it feels like you're crawling. You have to,
right.
there's a, again, perception, there's a warped perception.
Right.
When everybody's eyes are right on you, you feel like you're crawling. A slow, purposeful walk emanates authority and confidence.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What about eye contact? Is that important?
Eye contact is so huge. And I would say even the great presenters that I see, most of them miss this.
Oh.
I'm going to give you 2 quick tips on eye contact.
Okay.
What you'll learn from most books is decent. They'll say scan the audience, stop for 3 seconds, look at somebody, scan, stop for 3 seconds, look, scan. That's decent advice. Better advice is to, yes, scan the audience, but stop and make a point to an individual. Make a valid point. Don't stare them down.
Yeah.
But make a valid point to them, pause, and then move on, and then you can kind of skip around a little, stop for 3 seconds, and then make another valid point to somebody else. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, which will impress everybody, before you go on to do your presentation, look at your audience, look at the person all the way to the right and all the way to the left, and promise yourself that you will make clear eye contact with each one of those people, because they never get any. And that could be the most important person. That could be the CEO, the VP, your biggest prospect.
Right.
And they always get ignored.
Okay. We got about 2 minutes left, and I know one of the things that you have talked about before was that a pause can be very powerful and also can help you out in the concept to not be afraid of it, so that you don't go, okay.
Right.
Tell us some more about that.
The pause, I'll tell you this. In the years that I've been teaching public speaking and studying it, because everywhere I go, every chamber event I go, even if I'm not the speaker, I watch them. There is no confident speaker that will pause. There's no confident speaker that will not pause, is what I'm saying. Every confident speaker will use the pause to think, to clarify, and to collect their thoughts. Anybody who's nervous will fill it with an and an ah. Now, I think this is very, very important for your viewers. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to just hammer on this one last point. Ums and ahs. Do not do what the books tell you on ums and ahs. Do not get up before your presentation. Do not say, I'm not going to and ah. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. The only time to think about umming and ahhing is when you're talking to your friends. Stop umming and ahhing when you talk to your friends, when you leave voicemails, and then it won't happen when you speak.
And that's how you practice. Well, I'd like to thank my guest today, Frank Damelio from Target Intellect. To learn more about Frank and public speaking, go to our website, www.reverbnetwork.com. Remember, a verb is an action, and knowledge not applied is useless. So what action are you going to take now? It is a choice. Now hang in with us. We're going to be moving next to the next segment, which is the forum. Stay tuned.